it is completely plausible that the FBI could stage some crazy ass right-wing guy who says, I don't want New York City to come under Sharia law, therefore I had to go and kill Zohran Mamdani. That is the playbook that they can get away with now in October.
Kathy Hochul has now finally bent the knee and endorsed Zohran Mamdani for mayor. Here she is giving a very, very enthusiastic endorsement with emphasizing that she does not agree with many of his views.
Happy to. Yesterday, I endorsed Zohran Mamdani. I've made it very clear that we have differences, but I also believe that he brings a sense of optimism in the
We have differences, but the Jews are his problem now. Anyway.
Spirit, a positivity.
What do you think about Joe Biden, folks?
Yeah, right, yeah.
We all know that there's a lot of work
How do you think about Biden
occurs at the federal, at the state government level once the budget starts and our priorities are unfolded. And I want to continue focusing on affordability, public safety, and making sure he will know that this is a great state, it's a great city, and to work with whoever the next mayor will be. And I do believe it'll be Zohran Mamdani. I do not agree with many of his views, but running a state government or a city government is very different. It's about making sure that the garbage gets picked up, the streets are safe, you deal with homelessness, you deal with subway safety, which I'm focused on intensely. So, I disagree with many statements, and I've said that.
Well, she should just tell him, you should change your slogan to "I'll pick up the garbage." It's something they could all agree on, right? So Hochul mocked after Mamdani refuses to back governor's reelection despite her endorsement in New York City mayor's race. So Mamdani trolling a little bit and withholding his endorsement for her reelection just as she made him wait for hers. But Donald Trump pounced on this. Governor Kathy Hochul of New York has endorsed the little communist Zohran Mamdani running for mayor of New York. This is a rather shocking development and a very bad one for New York City. How can such a thing happen? Washington will be watching this situation very closely. No reason to be sending good money after bad. President DJT. So it's kind of a threat to, defund the city should Mamdani win. But what's interesting about this development here is that this does kind of connect to your race, since up until Mamdani won the primary, Richie Torres, your opponent, was saying that he wanted to run for governor, but that he would not run for governor if Mamdani won the primary, because that would send a signal that his staunch support for Israel would be too big a liability to win a statewide race. So because Mamdani wins, Torres stays in your district, and now the governor finally bends to pressure and becomes really the first high-profile Democrat in New York to back him. Still waiting on endorsements from Gillibrand, still waiting on endorsements from Hakeem Jeffries. They have both stayed quiet on this. Do you think he'll eventually win their endorsement?
Richie Torres winning their endorsement?
No, Zohran Mamdani winning their endorsement. Yeah.
No. Well, maybe. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries said his team said that he'll have more to say soon on the race, far before November, and yet we haven't seen anything like that come up yet, right? So it's possible, I think, that the Hakeem Jeffries, the Cory Bookers, the Chuck Schumers of the party may, in fact, I think they're actually still exploring all other avenues. They're still clinging on to this. Is it possible he won't be the mayor? And every day we get closer to November is every day that it's more and more of a reality that Mamdani's going to be the mayor. I mean, I don't foresee some crazy October surprise. Honestly, given the environment and the climate right now, given everything going on with the thing that happened with Charlie Kirk, and the assassin, look, I was talking about this on Viva Fry's show. Do you guys know Viva Fry?
We don't know him personally, but we know the show.
We know the show.
Hardcore right-wing guy. Okay. But the reason I reached out to him was because he was saying, the left is the violent people. The left. Now, he's always had sort of an affinity towards me. And, it's funny how these echo chambers work, because I said, he asked me how the campaign was going. I said, well, did you see this Adam Friedland interview? He's like, what? I said, Adam Friedland interview where Richie Torres is No, I didn't. Was that like trending or something? I was like, it was like the biggest thing that people were talking about for a week. He's like, no, I didn't see that. I was explaining on his show that you can't reduce this shit to a left-right maxim. We know that the FBI might have been involved. We know that the NSA surveils every single telephone. To what extent intelligence agencies knew this was happening and let this shit happen, I can't answer that, but I know that there is an answer, and I know that intelligence agencies, they're all over the internet. They're all over Discord. Somebody must have been egging this kid on to do it. And I say that because now there's an environment created where assassination attempts against political figures, you know, whether it's myself, whether it's Zohran, whether it's whoever, is now a legitimate practice. You know, and I genuinely fear for Zohran's life because in October, it's completely possible. And Charlie Kirk was responsible for this too. You know, I'm not gonna whitewash his history. He was calling Mamdani a Muslim extremist. He was calling him a Sharia law supporter, saying he was cheering during 9/11, right? It is completely plausible that the FBI could stage some crazy ass right-wing guy who says, I don't want New York City to come under Sharia law, therefore I had to go and kill Zohran Mamdani. That is the playbook that they can get away with now in October. And only further, by the way, the strategy of tension that is a legitimate government, you know, this is what the British and NATO did all in Italy during the 60s and 80s, where they had the left and right at each other's neck, and they were instigating the shit the whole time. That is the kind of situation we are in right now. And that I foresee is, and by the way, by talking about this, I think it offers some level of protection. I genuinely do believe that, right? By just saying that, hey, they might try to kill Zohran. And if they do, it's definitely intelligence agencies in Israel behind it. You know, that if you start saying that shit now, you know, because then this way people can find this clip now and they can just start pointing fingers, as we saw with the Charlie Kirk thing. I do think that is a legitimate form of trying to protect them. But I think that Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are genuinely waiting for an opportunity, or they might know the lowdown on some dirt that may have been uncovered on Zohran that they can point to and say, see, this is why we're not endorsing him. You know, like they know something. Or they know something is planned, and that's why they're not saying anything. Now it's 2 months out, less than 2 months out until the election. Not saying anything.
About a month and a half. Yeah.
Something is up. They know it. They're waiting to see if that, first of all, if it drops or if it happens, and then they're waiting to see the reaction to that. You know, and then only then will they then, you know, come out and say, this is why we're not supporting Zohran. But hey, if Zohran survives the attempted assassination attempt, or if he survives whatever dirt they have on him that comes out in October, you know, big things tend to happen in October surprise. If he tends to, you know, just rides the wave, he eats it like a champ and nobody cares and wants to turn, then they'll endorse him. Then they'll say, okay, then we have to kind of go along with this, or else we look like we're the people who are leaking this stuff or whatever.
Come see me on tour in Louisville, Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.